Hey guys, this is Valerie and welcome to my channel Vibing with Marketing. Today I'm gonna tell you about the cost of acquiring a user to your project. If you watch this video till the end, you will understand why this metric means absolutely nothing without context and why it is important to take into account different factors that I'm gonna tell you about in this video. So like this video before we start, subscribe and let's go! I actually hope you are not going to lose me today in this video because I decided to match with my cell phone. So anyway, let's continue. First, I would like to make a small comment. In the companies where I used to work, the user acquisition department was usually split into two parts. There were buyers who worked with web traffic and the ones who worked with mobile traffic. It is usually made this way because there are some differences in approaches to launching campaigns, to analyzing the data and the traffic, because there may be different analytical systems, but the key principles are the same and they're basic. And though I'm more specializing in mobile marketing and I will tell you about the acquisition cost in mobile apps, if you have a website, you should also watch this video till the end, because if you understand these principles, you will be able to apply them to your product and it will help you understand the metrics as well. So, and let's get back to CPI. It stands for cost per install. And what is CPI? It is the cost that you pay as an advertiser for acquiring a user to your mobile app. For example, if you spent $1,000 and 1,000 users downloaded your app, then your CPI will be $1. When is this metric used? User acquisition managers use this metric in their everyday work to analyze the effectiveness of their campaigns. Of course, this is not the only metric that you should take into account, but it is a very good benchmark to understand whether you need to scale or optimize or something is going wrong. So it can be used when optimizing campaigns in your efforts to maximize your profit. And when it comes to measuring the effectiveness of your marketing efforts, similar questions usually appear. Is my CPI okay? Is it high or low? Why is it so expensive and how can I make it lower? So I'm gonna tell you about the factors that have very big impact on the CPI and which you should take into account when making your acquisition strategy. The first factor is install location by country. CPI differs by country depending on how big the audience size is and also depending on the average income in this country. For example, the traffic from the United States is always much more expensive than, for example, traffic from India or some Asian countries. The second factor is the platform, Android or iOS. There has been made a lot of research that show that iOS users tend to make much more in-app purchases than Android users. So the value of the iOS user is normally much higher than the Android user. And for example, if your CPI on Android is $1 and on iOS is $3, it can still be fine and your economics will match and you will get positive ROI because iOS users will pay more in your product. Another factor is the traffic source where you acquire users. There are different traffic sources such as social media networks, mobile networks and search platforms, for example Apple Search Ads, and CPI can be crucially different depending on the platform. It actually happens because of the auction. Mobile networks normally have some publishing space, which is called inventory, where ads can be shown. And there are a lot of advertisers that want their ads to be shown in this specific space. And the better the inventory is, the more advertisers want to show their ads there and to attract the users that see their ads in these places. It's actually similar to the market. For example, when some good appears in the market and it has very good qualities and characteristics, a lot of people want to buy this product, and if the seller understands that, he starts to set the higher prices because he understands that users will buy his product even if it costs too much. So this is similar to the cost of traffic in mobile networks. Actually, there are such things that have impact on the cost of traffic, and this is traffic quality, the volumes of traffic, and the amount of advertisers that compete in this network for the inventory. And the next factor, which is also very important and which is actually connected to what I have already told you, is marketing metrics. And the first marketing metric that has impact on your CPI is CPM, or cost per mile. So this is cost per 1000 impressions. Actually, the better the quality of the traffic is, the higher the CPM is. There are a lot of factors that also have impact on CPM, which you cannot change, and I think I'm gonna make a separate video on these factors that have impact on CPM. Another marketing metric that is important to take into account is CTR. This metric shows how good the creative you're showing to the audience is and how much the audience likes it. So the better the CTR is, the higher your CPI will be. Another metric is CR in the store, and if you have a website, the CR on your landing page or your website. It's the conversion rate from click to install or to registration to some lead if it's the website. So the better your store is, the more descriptions and good pictures of your product it has, the higher it will be, and the lower your CPI is going to be. Another metric that is important to take into account is the genre you are working with. For example, if we take gaming apps, CPI on hyper-casual games will be much lower than, for example, CPI on mid-core games. It happens so because users who play hyper-casual games do not tend to make a lot of purchases, they just watch ads or make some cheap purchases, and the LTV of these products is quite low, and which is absolutely opposite to what mid-core projects have, because a user can pay hundreds of dollars and play this game for years, and that's why you can acquire this user for 20 or 30 bucks or even higher, depending on the LTV of your product. So now you see that CPI is absolutely nothing without the context. And when some of your colleagues is boasting like, oh, my traffic is so cheap, it costs like 5 cents, don't take it into account without asking more questions. What his product is about, where is he acquiring users, are they paying or not, which geo is he attracting users from, which platform, and so on, because maybe this cheap traffic will bring absolutely no value to the product, and your users, which are much more expensive, will bring you a lot of profit. And what's also important to remember is that CPI is not the only metric that you should take into account when analyzing the effectiveness of your marketing, because your key goal is getting positive ROI and making profit, and you can rely on CPI only when you analyze your traffic and use it as a benchmark. For example, you know that your normal CPI for some project should be like $3, and you see that it costs $8 today, and it can be a signal for you to look if everything is okay, if everything is okay with the store, or maybe the campaign is dead and you have to stop it or relaunch, or you have to optimize your traffic or change the creatives, and so on. Always take into account the LTV of your product, compare it to the CPI you get, and remember that CPI should be lower, and I'm sure you will succeed. So guys, thanks for watching. If I forgot to mention something, please write it down in the comments. It will be very interesting for me to read this. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and stay tuned. See you, bye bye.